The Rise of VonOff1700, From the Streets to the Richest Chapter 1. The Beginning. Every generation has that one artist who seems to appear out of nowhere. One day, nobody knows their name, and the next day, they're everywhere. Their music floods TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and Spotify playlists. Millions of people are suddenly repeating lyrics they had never heard just weeks before. For Chicago drill fans, one of those artists was VonOff1700. In what felt like overnight, he transformed from an upcoming rapper recording songs in Chicago into one of the fastest rising names in modern drill music. Songs like Ops on Deck spread across social media. His streaming numbers skyrocketed, and fans across the country started asking the same question. Who exactly is VonOff1700? The answer begins years before the fame. Long before the record deals, the interviews, and the millions of streams, there was simply a young kid growing up on Chicago's West Side. Like many neighborhoods throughout the city, life there could be unpredictable. Violence, poverty, and loss weren't things people only heard about on the news. For many families, they were part of everyday life. Chicago has always been one of America's most influential cities. It has produced legends across every era of hip-hop, from Kanye West to Chief Keef, Lil Durk, G Herbo, Polo G, and countless others. The city's drill movement changed rap forever, inspiring artists all over the world. While much of the early attention centered on the South Side, Chicago's West Side continued producing talented artists with their own sound, culture, and identity. It was inside that environment that David Meeks was born on April 22, 2003. Growing up in a large family, Von has publicly said he had 10 siblings. Life inside a household that big came with its own challenges. Resources had to be shared, responsibilities came early, and everyone learned how to survive together. Even as a child, he experienced events that most people never have to face. One of the moments he has spoken about the most happened when he was just 8 years old. In interviews, Von recalled witnessing his uncle being killed. He has described that experience as something that stayed with him for the rest of his life. Losing someone in such a traumatic way at such a young age changes how many people see the world. And according to Von, it became one of the defining moments of his childhood. Despite everything happening around him, music wasn't his first dream. Before anyone knew him as a rapper, basketball was his biggest passion. Like thousands of kids growing up in Chicago, he believed sports could become his ticket to a different life. He spent years playing basketball and focused much of his attention on improving his game. But life has a way of changing plans. According to Von, everything shifted after watching his older brother begin making music. Seeing someone close to him record songs made rap feel possible. Instead of simply listening to artists, he started imagining himself becoming one. At first, music was simply something to experiment with. He wrote lyrics, recorded rough songs, learned how studios worked. Like almost every new artist, his earliest recordings weren't instantly successful. Nobody was offering him record deals. There were no viral TikTok clips. Most people outside his neighborhood had never even heard his name. But what separated Von from many other artists was consistency. Instead of quitting after disappointing numbers, he continued recording. Every song helped him improve. Every studio session made him more comfortable behind the microphone. Slowly but surely, he began developing a style that sounded different from everyone else around him. Rather than relying only on loud aggression, his delivery carried confidence without sounding forced. His flows felt effortless, and his hooks stayed in listeners' heads after only one listen. Fans started recognizing that he wasn't simply copying the sound that had already made Chicago famous. He was creating something that felt like his own. As more music came out, his local audience slowly grew. People around Chicago started paying attention. His videos gained more views. His songs circulated through neighborhoods and social media pages dedicated to new drill artists. While mainstream audiences still didn't know his name, momentum was quietly building behind the scenes. But music wasn't the only thing happening in his life. Before rap became a full-time career, Von has openly discussed becoming involved in criminal activity. During interviews, he admitted that he participated in stealing cars while growing up. According to him, it was part of the environment he was living in at the time. Rather than hiding that period of his life, he has spoken about it publicly as something that happened before music became his path forward. His legal troubles didn't stop there. Chapter 2. The song that changed everything. By the beginning of 2024, VonOff1700 had already earned respect in Chicago's underground drill scene. His music was beginning to circulate throughout the city, and every release brought in more listeners than the last. While he wasn't a household name yet, people in Chicago knew there was a new artist with real potential. The challenge was breaking beyond his hometown. That's where many talented artists get stuck. Building local buzz is one thing, but reaching a national audience is a completely different battle. Thousands of rappers have loyal fan bases in their own cities, yet only a small percentage ever become recognized across the country. For VonOff1700, that breakthrough came with one record. When he released Ops on Deek, the response was immediate. The song carried everything fans had started to expect from him. Hard-hitting production, a confident delivery, and a hook that stayed in your head after one listen. It didn't sound like it was trying to follow trends. Instead, it felt authentic to who he already was as an artist. At first, the song spread through Chicago. People started sharing it with friends. Cars drove through neighborhoods with the song blasting through speakers. Local DJs played it. Fans uploaded clips to TikTok and Instagram Reels. Then, the internet did what it does best. The algorithm took over. Short videos using the song began appearing on thousands of people's feeds. Every repost introduced the music to new listeners. Every viral clip pushed the song even further. Before long, people from cities that had never heard of VonOff1700 were asking the same question. Who is this? Streaming numbers climbed rapidly. Spotify listeners increased. YouTube views multiplied. Reaction channels started covering the song. DJs outside of Chicago added it to their playlists. The momentum was impossible to ignore. For the first time, VonOff1700 wasn't just a Chicago rapper. He was becoming a national artist. The attention also brought new opportunities. Industry executives began paying closer attention to his music. Labels started recognizing that this wasn't simply a one-song moment. They saw an artist with a unique voice, growing numbers, and a fan base that was expanding every week. Unlike many artists who suddenly go viral and disappear months later, Von continued releasing music. That consistency became one of his biggest strengths. Instead of relying on one hit, he kept giving fans new records to listen to. Songs like Walking Lick, Free Brick, and other releases continued building his reputation as one of the most exciting young artists coming out of Chicago. At the same time, his interviews started giving fans a better understanding of who he was outside of the music. Rather than trying to create a perfect public image, Von spoke openly about his upbringing. He discussed losing people close to him, growing up in a difficult environment, and the choices he made before music changed his life. He also talked publicly about the legal problems he experienced when he was younger, including gun-related cases and the reality of feeling like he had to protect himself. Whether people agreed with every decision he made or not, many listeners appreciated that he wasn't pretending to be someone else. Authenticity has always been one of the biggest currencies in drill music. Fans can usually tell when an artist is exaggerating or creating stories for attention. VonOff1700's supporters believed that his music reflected real experiences, and that connection helped strengthen his fan base even more. As his audience continued growing, bigger artists also started taking notice. Being recognized by established names in the industry gave him additional credibility. For an upcoming rapper, support from respected artists can introduce your music to millions of new listeners almost overnight. It wasn't long before major labels became seriously interested. Eventually, Von signed with Signal Records in partnership with Columbia Records, marking one of the biggest moments of his career. For many artists, signing a major deal represents years of hard work finally paying off. But a record deal doesn't guarantee success. It simply creates a bigger opportunity. Now the expectations were even higher. Fans wanted to know if VonOff1700 could continue building on the momentum created by Ops on Deck. Critics wondered whether he could avoid becoming another artist remembered for only one viral song. Von answered those questions the only way he knew how: by continuing to make music. His releases maintained the same energy that attracted fans in the first place. His delivery remained confident. His production continued evolving. Instead of abandoning the sound that made him successful, he refined it. As streaming numbers climbed into the millions, the transformation was becoming impossible to ignore. Chapter 3. The Future of VonOff1700. Every successful artist reaches a moment where people stop asking if they're going to make it and start asking how far they can go. For VonOff1700, that moment arrived faster than almost anyone expected. Within just a few years, he transformed from an unknown rapper recording music in Chicago to an artist with millions of streams, a major record deal, and one of the fastest-growing fan bases in modern drill music. But in today's music industry, getting famous is only half the battle. Staying relevant is much harder. Every week, new artists go viral. New songs dominate social media. New trends appear overnight. The same internet that can make an artist famous can also move on just as quickly. That's why consistency matters more than ever. Instead of disappearing after the success of Ops on Deck, Von continued releasing music, performing across the country, and building his catalog. Every release became another opportunity to prove he wasn't simply another viral rapper. Fans continued supporting his music because they believed it represented his real life. His songs reflected the environment he grew up in, the people around him, and the experiences that shaped who he became. Whether listeners agreed with every lyric or not, authenticity remained one of the biggest reasons his audience continued growing. As his career developed, opportunities also became bigger. Larger stages, bigger festivals, more interviews, more collaborations, more attention from the music industry. The pressure also increased. Every new release carried higher expectations than the last. Fans expected bigger hits. Critics expected growth. The industry expected consistency. So far, VonOff1700 has continued moving forward. Looking back, it's difficult to believe how quickly everything happened. A young kid from Chicago's West Side, originally focused on basketball, inspired by watching his older brother record music, eventually deciding to take rap seriously. Facing legal problems while growing up, speaking openly about losing family members and friends, then releasing one song that completely changed the direction of his life. Ops on Deck wasn't simply another drill record. It became the moment millions of people were introduced to VonOff1700. But that song only opened the first chapter of his career. Everything that came afterward happened because he continued working after the viral moment. Many artists become famous once. Very few build careers that last. Only time will decide which category VonOff1700 ultimately belongs to. One thing is certain, his story is still being written. The next chapter hasn't happened yet. More music will be released. More interviews will happen. More performances will follow. New opportunities will come. New challenges will appear. And as long as fans continue listening, his journey will continue evolving. Whether he eventually becomes one of Chicago's biggest artists or simply remains one of the most memorable voices of this generation is something nobody can predict. But considering everything he's already accomplished in such a short amount of time, it's clear that VonOff1700 has already made an impact on modern drill music. For some people, he'll always be remembered as the artist behind Ops on Deck. For others, he'll be remembered as one of the new faces representing Chicago's West Side. And for his supporters, this is only the beginning. The story isn't over. It's still being written every single day. So the next time you hear the name VonOff1700, remember, before the millions of streams, before the concerts, before the headlines, before the record deal, there was simply a kid from Chicago chasing a dream. And sometimes, one song really can change everything. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, be sure to subscribe for more stories covering the biggest names in hip-hop. Let us know in the comments who you think we should cover next, because this story may be over, but the next one is just getting started.